our Season 4 champions, our Season 6 runners-up. To the top right-hand side of the map, representing Team Liquid. Such an accomplished team here, not just in the WardiTV Team League, but in so many other leagues, individual leagues, in other games as well, of course. It is their first player to the top right-hand side, Thermal, the blue Terran. And to the top left-hand side of the map, our red Terran player is going to be from Cascade. Twice runners-up in the WTL. Season 1, when it was back as the SC2 ITL. Season 1, runners-up against Mine Santi. Season 3, runners-up against Startail. Season 6, they came top 8. They've always been big contenders in the competition. They've always been big contenders. To top left-hand side, Cascade's Hades is going to be their first player. As we set up into this, guys, it's a best of 7 all-kill series, which means that as one player loses, that means... How do you say this? As you win, you stay on. It's like King of the Hill. So the winner stays on until one team has 4 victories. So that's the format we run with. This format people kind of vote for, actually, as well. We always send out a little bit of a... we always send out a survey at the end of each season. A few people... A few people are like, actually, we'd like to play some Pro League format and stuff like this, but the vast majority of teams that respond do say they enjoy the best of 7 all-kill the most, which is interesting. I feel as though a lot of it has to do with maybe a lot of the other team leagues or best of 5 Pro League and have that format already in place, such as Alpha SC2 Pro League, RSTL uses a similar format as well, whereas this is a little bit different for them, so it is interesting. It's something which a lot of people kind of discuss as to what's the best and so on and all of that. Guys, do go and spread the word, by the way, that we're live. Do let everyone know the WardiTV Team League is once again live with some awesome matches for you all. We are, again, going to have 2 best of 7s for you tonight. Let's see if we can break like a Team League viewership record in the group stages. I think 2.4k is already up there as breaking Team League viewership records for the group stages. But let's see if we can push 3k. Do you think that's impossible? I don't think it's impossible. I think we can do this, especially if we get some good matches. So let's see. As early on in this TVT, double gas is down for both, neither with a fast expansion, and both just with a starport now on the way in building. Attack Lab onto the factory for Thermal. So an early siege tank from him, unless it's just going to swap away for a Banshee, which is very possible, of course, in this current TVT metagame. And it is going to swap away. Could also be for a Viking Raven combo to just stay very safe in the early stages of the game. As 2 Marines just going to sit up atop this ramp, and Widow Mine's on the way out to help protect as well early on. We saw a lot of TVT earlier today, a best of 5 between Gumiho and Innovation. If you missed that one from the SGL Cup number 6, then you have some StarCraft to catch up on tonight, because SGL was fantastic today. And that TVT series between Gumiho and Innovation was probably my favorite. It was so good, so sick. Some great games. If you're a little bit stuck on what to do in TVT, or you just want to be completely amazed by what players can do in TVT, that is definitely a series you should watch out for. As we're going to be seeing Cloak on the way up, the Banshee is building, and just going to cancel that Tech Lab here, going to build a Reactor instead. And I imagine what he wants to go for is double Tech Lab and a Reactor. So Reactor will be for the Starport, Barracks will go on one Tech Lab, Factory on the other, so he can make Stim, his Siege Tanks, and of course Reactor add Vikings to maintain air control. I was going to be seeing this drop for Widowmine inside from Hades, going to be starting to move towards the main base. Already though, Thermal with a Widowmine in position, and that means the Medivac goes so low on health that it just can't realistically move into the main because it would just be picked off by anything. A Cyclone, a Viking, even just the Marines would kill it off here. So it has to be very cautious, and we'll just have to reposition itself. Now the first Banshee at Thermal is beginning to move across towards the upper left-hand side of the map. So this Banshee Thermal moving in towards the upper left. Going to be flying on in here, and we'll start to work its way through a few of these SCVs. So going to come in, and SCVs will start taking a little bit of damage right now. So some workers starting to go down here. Cyclone will lock onto that Banshee as well. Cloak will be set in a moment to save it. Thermal just about keeping this alive. Now the Cloak comes back in. At least he forces a scan, gets 2 workers with it as well. Does he have another Banshee, or what was the follow-up? It was the Raven, it is now the Viking as well. And this has been the very common way to play things out as of late. He actually puts the, keeps the Reactor on the Barracks for now. We'll see if that's going to swap after this first Viking. That's probably the most common time for it to swap, I suppose, actually, when the first Viking is out and the Raven is out as well. So we shall see. As this Reaper going to move over to the right-hand side of the map. So Reaper going to move over to the right-hand side of the map. A couple of Hellions coming out of this factory as well. And we're just going to be seeing the Medivac up in the skies from Hades with the Cyclone inside of it. Going to be dropping across, and actually just going to be picking off the Reaper on the Watchtower to begin with. The grenade doesn't connect as it lifts back up in plenty of time to not actually take too much damage. As UFilm moving down towards his natural expansion, as is Hades. Still things very similar in this game at this point. Just UFilm maybe slightly stronger mechanically, because you can just see like a 5-worker lead, a 5-army supply lead. You know, advantages coming in from nowhere too kind of spectacular or too crazy, but advantages just starting to kind of creep in there as time passes by. This Widowmine is going to move across the map from Hades as well. Going to be having a little bit of a look to see what it can get up to. So Widowmine coming over to the right-hand side here, and, well, what else is going on? Again, not really too much. We see the Viking force from UFilm going up the top side, and he's going to run into just one Viking and a Raven of his opponent. Well, that's going to be great for him. Even if he just forces, well, is there even energy for PTD? No, there isn't. So the Raven will go down. Big pickup here from UFilm already. And again, we're just talking about sort of slight mechanical differences. UFilm, his build, and this wasn't a mechanical difference. This is just a better build from him, because his build gets him that many Vikings out in time. And that really does make a bit of a difference. This tank is on the way up. It's going to be mech from Hades here and Habitation Station. But it's, again, UFilm with all the advantages right now. He comes forward, maybe thinks about picking off that medevac. Cyclone will maybe be a bit of a threat, but to some extent it might even be worth just committing in. He's actually going to get the medevac. He's also going to get this tank as well as he drops the turrets from the Raven. These turrets do so much damage nowadays since patch 3.8. They can pick off so much so quickly. And that is a nice little start there from UFilm. Picking off a couple of units, making this pretty low cost, as now we'll see more of these units from UFilm heading back towards the right-hand side of the map. Stimpack +1 on the way out of our Terran players, just continuing to set up here right now. Reactor and a couple more barracks coming down as well. So 5 racks in total already here from UFilm. As we're going to be seeing him, again, just macroing on up with this bio-based playstyle. Now this is mech from Hades. It's mech from Hades, however, it's a really good map to play mech on. Like, in a lot of ways, it's also a very bad map to play mech on. The issue is, right, that there's a lot of drop space in towards the main base around the right-hand side of this main right. So that's kind of an issue. But at the same time, it's a very short map. So once you get mech rolling, you can actually get across and siege up very aggressively and very easily. And you have some very narrow pathways to utilize that with, so you can't be flanked while doing so. Now, there is a lot of space down to the bottom side of the map, which UFilm might be looking to use in terms of counter-attacking, while also dropping up towards the main. And that's the sort of way in which he'll be looking to try and punish the mech player here and trying to catch him just a little bit off guard. So that's what we're going to be looking at from our bio player. Looking to try and take advantages, find openings, find gaps to get around that mech army. And we saw it from Innovation earlier, something that was very good for him on the kind of on Overgrowth against mech. He did lose the game, but he was always ready to counterattack. So as soon as Gumiho was like, okay, I'm going to go and attack you now, Innovation was already stimming units in towards the third base. It just means that that attack from Gumiho has to do damage then, because if it doesn't, the game will just end from the counterattack damage. It's as simple as that. Armory goes down in the natural expansion here. The third base from Hades is set up as well. Widowmine just going to burrow just next to, or just in front of these couple of tanks. Hellions, Cyclone as well. Vikings up in the sky too. As these units from UFilm are still just moving around, looking to try and find an opening right here. Looking to see what they can maybe get, as we see. He actually doesn't have air control anymore, but he is going to get a good siege position right over towards the natural. He's actually just going to run up in towards the natural expansion, so this is a little bit awkward because all the tanks of his opponent are down on the low ground, and obviously they can't get back up to the natural without running, you know, through the kind of tank fire of UFilm now. So this is a nice little play, and we're going to be seeing UFilm denying mining on the natural, killing 10 SCVs so far as well, and he just put himself and Liquid henceforth into a great position in game number 1. Armory dropping in the main base. He actually doesn't have the armory yet to make the Hellbats. He was building it in the natural. It's going to go down. SCV's pulling to try and save the orbital. It will be repaired, as this tank is actually starting to do damage to clean up these Marines. Cost him another few SCVs to repair this, but it's better than losing the actual command center, almost certainly. As we'll be seeing these tanks actually just going to siege pushing forwards. Widowmine goes off on just one Marine, and that right there will be GG. UFilm is going to take game number 1 of this best of 7 4-team best of 7 all-kill series to the top right-hand side of Varney Research Station. Let's hear it if you're going to be cheering on the Blue Terran player representing Team Liquid in his team's color right here in the game. It's always nice. It is UFilm. It's always cool when players play in the team's color, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, Liquid Blue. I used to remember the Carnage Esports Red used to be a classic as well. It's always fun. It just adds a little something, even if it's not intentional. I mean, it's kind of awkward because Cascade are also sort of a, you know, their logo's also blue. I guess their color's also blue. Braddock can't exactly be blue as well because UFilm is, unless we have blue against teal, which no one loves because we're in a TVT, which is a mirror matchup, and then you don't know whose Marines are whose and whose tanks are killing what and all of that. Guys, the bottom side of the map from Cascade, their second player here tonight, it is Braddock. you know, Braddock's been playing a lot recently. He's been getting a lot better, and I feel as though if Minato is on form lately, Cass has also been playing a lot lately as well. So I feel if Minato's on form, and with Cass playing as much as he's played recently, I actually really feel Cascade are maybe in like the best form they've been in a long, long time in the Team League. I mean, you think back to Season 1, Cascade, they really powered through the season. They hit a brick wall against My Insanity in the Grand Finals. They lost 1-4. Against Startail in Season 3 in the Grand Finals, it was a 2-4 loss. You know, they still took 2 maps off Startail. I remember Minato beat Curious in Game 1 on Overgrowth. It's absolutely insane. This is a team who really have so much potential throughout this season, and, you know, they've got a very tough first match. You know, it's never going to be easy to take on Liquid and expect to go in and be like, right, you know, we're going to 4-0 them. You know, that's just not realistic. But there's definitely, like, you know, I definitely feel Cascade can take a map here, take 2 maps. I definitely feel that, you know, past this match, they should be looking to beat the majority of other teams they play against so that they can move through to the playoffs once again. So we set up into this. We're going to be seeing a Reaper coming down the right-hand side of the map here. Going to hold on to this watchtower for now. The opening is very different to what we saw on Habitation Station, which is so expected on Varney. Because you've got this in-base natural, it's much safer and much easier to take compared to Habitation Station, where it's a fairly short rush distance, which inevitably sort of leads to this sort of aggression where, you know, Reaper Hellion can be very aggressive super early. You know, any sort of aggression can actually do a lot early, tank pushes and so it's just a bit safe to open up with kind of the later CC rather than the faster CC we're seeing here now in game number 2. Obviously, it's a different play on Cascade, but it's the same play from Liquid, right? It's still U-Thermal, so it's him doing a different build here, a very different build. And Braddock, well, he messes up here a little bit, actually. Hellion goes down to the low ground instead of popping up on the high ground. Has already a reactor on the factory. Going to build a Cyclone as he does move the starport over onto the tech lab. What's this going to be for then? Is it going to be Banshee play? No, he's actually going to start a second Cyclone, so he definitely can't afford a Banshee at this point. We do see 2 Reapers and the Hellion will collect together on the right-hand side watchtower. Again, just looking to maintain the map control of these units here early as U-Thermal goes into a couple of Marines. His Siege Tank on the way up, and also a Medivac early on. So we'll see what he wants to do with this. Whether he actually pressures forwards with a tank and some Marines and the Medivac, or whether he's still going to just sit back and play somewhat passively. I imagine he might actually bring the tank across with maybe a couple SCVs. Or maybe not even SCVs, it's more of a TVP thing, but bring the tank and Marines across in the Medivac and just drop off when attack with these 2 Reapers and Hellions. It's a very a build we saw actually towards the end of the last patch. That's still somewhat valid right now in this TVT matchup because, yeah, you can't tank evac around anymore, but the initial drop of units, you don't have a tank evac in it anyways. The tank is unsieged. So you lose a bit of mobility, but it's still very strong, and you know, sometimes even stronger because the tank just does so much more damage now at the very start. So let's see what happens as these units gather up down towards the south side. I mean, Medivac will start to unload a few of these units here. And let's see how this is going to continue on. So, tank unloads will begin to siege. And, well, what is there to defend from Braddock? 3 Hellions and 2 Cyclones. I mean, the Cyclones can do a lot. It's just the siege tank which will create so many issues here for Braddock in the very near future, because the tank will do a lot of damage as he tries to run on in and as he tries to get in range. So, it's not going to be easy. Losing the 2 Deepers will supply block him now as well. He's looking around. He waits for the Raven. I mean, an auto turret on the low ground could actually be a way for him to just sort of help so much against this. Tank starts to take some damage, and actually the tank goes down pretty quickly here. 1 Cyclone falls. Yeah, this was pretty good cleanup, honestly, from Braddock. It was just, you know, he took a lot of damage initially anyways, right? But in the end, he lost 2 Deepers to, you know, kill a tank in that army. Killed a Medivac as well. He lost a Cyclone. He lost a few Hellions. I actually feel as though that went pretty okay for Braddock. Now, the follow-up, it will be interesting here. You can see resources lost actually just favoring Braddock here. So it wasn't that bad of a trade for him overall. Here comes the Cloak Banshee follow-up from U-Thermal, and how well prepared for all this is Braddock? Well, he doesn't have an Engineering Bay. He's just going to start double Engineering Bay right now. He's got 1 scan available. Let's see if he drops the Mule, though, because he has only just gotten that energy. Actually, he doesn't need a scan. He's got a Raven, of course. I forgot about that. We just watched this Raven drop down an auto turret and help massively in this engagement, and I completely forget. So, yes, of course, Raven is here with these 2 Vikings as well, and with Cyclone as well. I mean, yeah, he's got plenty to deny the Cloak Banshee. The smart thing for U-Thermal would maybe be go with 2 Banshees at the same time. I don't know if he made a second Banshee. He did. So that way the Raven can't be in 2 places at once, which is makes it a little bit more kind of likely that you get damage done. I mean, this or something like, you know, when you have like a drop coming in at the same time. You know, just in general multi-pronged aggression. Just because you already saw the Raven, I think, is a response from U-Thermal to just say, okay, well, I'm going to hold back with my first Banshee. No point when, you know, putting 1 Banshee to its death and then the second one coming in and dying like 2 minutes later, you know, without doing much damage. This first one will get some damage done, though, because the Raven is very far out of position, actually, over to the left-hand side here. And the Vikings will start chasing this other Banshee, which it spots just now. So this natural expansion Banshee is going to have the time of his life. Already 4 workers killed. And just continue to move forwards here. Going to find a 5th. And there's a few more that aren't even pulling away just yet, as turrets will start to come up as a response to this as well. UFilm will take in about a 7 worker lead, and I'm sure that will increase a little bit further as the Banshees continue trying to do a bit more damage here. That first one, actually, the one to the left does go down. This one towards the natural, though, is still doing a pretty good job. I mean, 6 workers killed, now 7. Maybe could have done more, did spend a little bit of time attacking this refinery rather than going towards the SCVs on the gas to the left. So, you know, small mistakes here maybe, but in the end he's still going to push it away. He still defends, but still 10 workers down as well, which is something you've got to keep in mind overall. I want to try and catch up with that, because you know, being 10 workers behind for a little while is okay, but you can't let it continue happening. You can just see in general UFilm has had that. Well, I guess not in general. It's actually been fairly even, a bit back and forth. But that Banshee play will definitely help him out here for the next few moments. Auto turret comes down, Reaper gets picked off almost instantly. Still that Banshee around to the right hand side. He didn't find that with his Vikings and his and the Raven. So that's a little bit of a shame. That is a little bit of a shame, as we're going to be seeing these. He was just collecting over towards the bottom left hand side of the map. So he was just collecting down towards the bottom left hand side. Still a Marine sat to the far left as well from Braddock. And we're going to be seeing more Marines continue to move across here. UFilm looking to see what's happening out here on the map in the very near future. 2-2 upgrades coming in from UFilm. We've seen the 1-1 finishing up from Braddock in a few moments as well. So upgrades just continue to come in from both sides. As we actually see this one Marine from Braddock going up the left a little bit. And Marines just gathering up together on this watchtower. Banshee to the far right side from UFilm as well is looking to see what's up. And yeah, the combat shield's coming in for him as well. Nice. Cool, cool stuff so far. I mean, the game is just going to kind of normalize a little bit. It's just going to kind of even out. UFilm definitely on advantages, but you know, the game isn't over. You know, the game is just stabilized, and both players have a good shot to, do what they want to do. They have a good shot to play their game, show us what they're made of in mid-game TVT, which is nice because TVT is one of those matchups where a lot of the time the early game pressure can put someone very far ahead, or it can put someone, in a position where they just straight up win the game. And, that means, the mid-game TVT is something we do see a lot of it, I'm not going to lie, we definitely see a lot of it, but we don't get as many TVT mid-games as maybe some other matchups, like TVZ, I'd say, TVZ, we almost always see the game going in towards the mid-game. TVP, unless you're classic playing against Innovation, generally has a more mid-game focused sort of vibe about it, but TVT relies so much on the early game that it's a little bit crazy. Big drop from UFilm, just right-hand side. This could be disastrous if these Vikings fly in. Uh-oh, here we go. Turret's going to start coming in. Man, the Vikings just don't find this. This is so unfortunate for Braddock because he's so close to being in the right position to completely deny this. Now the Vikings, though, are just going to take so much damage. Auto turrets won't do anything. And these units just get pushed away. And oh my god, UFilm just controls the natural of Braddock. I'm talking about getting to see some mid-game TVT. And the game might just end right here with this one large drop down the right-hand side of the map. Braddock was so close to being able to defend and deny this. Just doesn't happen. The natural CC goes down. We see another tank just sieging up a little bit further forwards. Marines and tanks coming in from Braddock to try and defend, but down at command center is already a tough position to play from. UFilm doesn't look as though he's going to leave here anytime soon as well. He knows he's got tanks in position. He knows he can hold this location, and so he sees absolutely no reason to begin backing away. UFilm will... Sorry, there's a Braddock side. I just thought they were coming from the top side for the UFilmers, but no, Braddock's Vikings are on the way back. I mean, man, if they were just a little bit over to the right, this would have never happened. It was so close to positioning. It was very unfortunate in the end. We're going to see the Raven going down. The Vikings being targeted as well. These Marines will fight in. Probably not the best of ideas. He is 2-2 against 1-1 momentarily, and also combat shields against no combat shields. So for UFilm, it's actually not as bad a fight as it looks, despite being completely outnumbered. As we're going to be seeing Braddock with one sort of last-ditched effort to just attack up the left side, but UFilm's reinforcement numbers are pretty large here. Sieges up the tanks. Both players drop the scan on their opponent's armies to see what's happening. UFilm comes in. He'll start to target down the siege tanks. That'll be GG. As UFilm takes game number 2 of this best of 7 all-kill series, and Team Liquid are starting of this series. To the top right-hand side from Cascade, our yellow Zerg player is going to be Minato. And to the top left-hand side, our teal Terran player is going to be UFilm. Again, guys, best of 7 here tonight. Hope you're all having a good time. Hope you're all enjoying the game so far with us. This is WardiTV. The Team League this week will be live again. When else are we going to be live this week? We're going to be live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? We're going to be live tomorrow evening. We're going to be live on Sunday evening as well, and late night Saturday for some America's Division competition also. So super loads of action going on. And because there's no Layfen Cup and SGL Cup next week, we've also decided to run the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. Ufilmal is our first invite for the tournament, so kind of fitting that he's playing here right now. And we'll be doing the rest of the invites tomorrow after our qualifier. So that's the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. !Christmas into the chat if you would like to find out more. And basically it's just going to be a 16-player event. We have our qualifier tomorrow from 1 PM CET. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week we'll have groups A, B, C, D. And on Friday we're going to have the grand finals and the rest of the playoffs, obviously. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Short, thank you very much for the cheer 100 in the chat. Thanks for casting, he says. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thanks very much for tuning in. Do pick a bauble colour. You are allowed to have a bauble for cheer 100, so you may have a bauble added to the tree. Thank you very much for the cheer. Appreciate all the support, guys. And you guys are really awesome. You've been really kind to me the last week or so, so thank you so much. Helped me to keep on running these events, running these leagues, bringing you guys streams every single day. Thank you guys. You're all awesome. Alright, so to the top left-hand side, it's going to be our teal Terran player from Liquid. It is Ufilmal. Do we do intros? If not, I feel we should do them again because I went and talked about other things for so long. And to the top right-hand side, our yellow Zerg player from Cascade is Minato. So we set up into this best of 7. Game 3 now, and Ufilmal already off to a bit of a cracking start for Team Liquid. No real way to deny that. I mean, he's been off to a fantastic one. 2-0, and looked very convincing while doing so, which is nice as well. As we're going to be seeing this SCV just taking a little bit of damage. SCV just taking a little bit of damage and just go down, doesn't pick up too much info. Knows where his opponent is at least, so that's something. You know, it's a start, right? As we just see the Queen just sitting up here, and yeah, just Queen sitting up here. Going to see the Creep Tumor dropping down towards the front as well. And Queen's just continuing to come forwards and to continue to see what else is up and happening. Drones coming over here as well. Nothing too crazy in the early stages. Now let's have a look at Ufilmal's build, see if there's anything exciting here. There is. Second reactor is obviously a little bit of a interesting way to go. So we're going to see a second reactor coming up here right away. And it's just going to be for the starport. Is he going to go reactor liberators? Wow. This is a build Ufilmal did right at the start of Legacy of the Void. No, it's going to be medevacs. Oh, I haven't seen this build in forever. Actually, the last time I cast this build was at Home Story Cup. I remember it. I remember it so well because I looked at this and we were kind of casting. What was I casting? I can't remember. It might have been something on the mainstream. But I remember watching it. I was like, man, like, what is this build? And then I was like, oh my god, you know, as soon as he lands the starts the medevacs, it's like, oh, this build. This was like the predecessor to the 2-1-1, which was like, you know, you have 1 Rax and you don't have Stim. It hits earlier with 2 medevacs. The Widowmine will be in it as well. And yeah, I mean, you have 2 full medevacs, you attack across the map and you see what happens, basically. It's, you know, it's pre-Stim, it hits a bit earlier. It's a pretty cool build to kind of switch things up with. He's going to go 2 Liberators behind this, double Engineering Bay as well. Back at home, well, Minato's setting up to defend some aggression. He's got Lings on the way, he's got Bin and Nest coming down as well. As well as the lair coming up on the natural expansion. So lair coming up on the natural expansion here. I'm just going to be seeing again more units just gathering up together. Ufilmal going to be moving down over here. Going to see a few Marines starting to drop off. So a few Marines dropping off right now, and the Widowmine as well. He's actually going to attack in towards the third, which I like because it means he's going to come in from a direction where the Zerglings aren't already kind of set to just jump on him as soon as he's unloading from the medevac. So going to be seeing these Marines continuing to, you know, attack in towards this third hatchery. A few Lings going down here. Widowmine unburrows, doesn't want to lose that. Queen is not getting any connections on the medevacs just yet, which is a little bit of a shame because that's one of the big ways in which you defend this sort of stuff. As the Widowmine goes off, well, now the Queens will get 1 medevac, I think. Yes, it does go down. Ufilmal just begins to back away. Nothing too major. And just pulling back a few steps. As you can see, at the same time, double Liberator into the main. This is really cute, actually, because obviously the Liberators, the rest, sorry, not the Liberators, the rest of the Queens are over in the third base, and that's quite far away here on Whirlwind. So already he's just not in a position to really deal with this. As Balin started to move on forwards, or continue to move forwards, and Ufilmal just doing a bit more damage over towards the third. So a few drones going down to the Liberators. The multi-pronged harassment working out nicely. 1 Liberator goes down. I'm just going to be seeing Ufilmal backing away up the top side. So Ufilmal just backs away up the top side. We're going to be seeing an armory coming down as well over on the natural. And we see this third CC also setting up and ready to go. It's about halfway done to morph into an orbital. His 1-1 upgrades are quite far along as well because he got that double engineering bay early before the third CC and before extra barracks as well. So Ufilm really just building up into his mid-game infrastructure now. As the worker counts, well, actually, to be fair, Minato's not doing a bad job with this. 62 workers to the 51. He's still kept himself in a fairly solid position when it comes to economy. And in terms of defending these attacks, he's doing a pretty good job as well. You know, there's a fair few units out on the map from Minato, and he's defend, but he hasn't overmade units. And he's still defend, you know. He had a little bit of trouble when those Liberators first came in, but other than that, it's been all good. That's when the Liberators came in, when he had to pull that mineral on that little spike. But otherwise, things looking pretty good for Minato. Very well played ZVT so far. Let's see if he can continue to do this. As he snipes off this Medivac, things will look a little bit nicer for him as well. So Medivac goes down. Big pick off here by Minato. That's the exact sort of way you would have liked to see this starting on up, of course. This little Marine just moving around as well. This Liberator saging up in the natural. Oh, it's so close to dying. Just one more shot. He doesn't want to risk the Queen here. There you go. Gets a transfuse before he comes back in. Queen would have died if it went back in beforehand. So nice to save it, even if it did cost him one more drone. And, I mean, you know, it would have actually maybe even been worse because if that Queen wasn't in position, might even got a couple more shots off on drones anyways. So, again, good stuff by Minato, defending pretty well for the most part. And, you know, equaling up supplies. Worker count starting to go into favor of Ufilm. Maybe Minato not being too kind of worker heavy in production in the last few moments, which is maybe one of his small little mistakes right here. But apart from that, like, I mean, he's looking pretty darn good, right? We see some Lings going to start running up towards the upper left-hand side. Double Medivac going to load up. And they're going to start moving through to the top right-hand side, of course. Dropping once again. Nice positions in terms of spawns for Ufilm. He can drop from his natural to his opponent's main. It's a nice little kind of direction to drop towards. Rather than kind of if he was like, say, bottom right. Obviously, Minato can expand the other way. So he'd be dropping in towards the natural, which is, on this map, you know, dropping into the natural is generally already going to be a spore crawler here and units around here. Dropping into the main is just that little bit further away, a little bit more dead space to work with generally as well. So it's a nice little, I mean, they're both, you know, both spawns have their positives and negatives. I feel that's a nice little positive you can pick up on kind of spawning top left against the top right Zerg. We've seen it from Linksman over the center. Does not want to go off on those Widow Mines. Oh my god, disgusting shots. 16 and 7 kills going down there. As those Widow Mines pick up a good few Zerglings. A little bit of a mistake by Minato as Ufilm sends out once again 3 Medivacs through the top side of the map. Going to be approaching that main base here very shortly. As these Marines are going to be gathering together and starting to work their way through this hatchery once again. Banes are going to come in from a couple different angles. Not going to be finding a kill as we see the drop into those main. He's actually going to drop on top of the Queens. And Minato's going to start losing these right now. So Queen's going down. A couple of Overlords taking a bit more damage as well. And this is actually turned out to be really nice for Ufilm. Really starting to pull his opponent apart with these drops. And Minato, haven't really looked at it, but his supply has just been dropping recently. His income has been down for a little while since he just didn't drone up enough initially. And now he's just been losing army supply after army supply. Those Widow Mines started it, and since then, he's just continued to lose so much. And these drops are just unrelenting. Now coming back to this south side, and you're going to be seeing these Marines coming forwards. They're going to start working their way through this Queen. Queen is going to go down. More Lings are being killed off as well. And I mean, the drops just continue, right? As soon as this over towards the third base starts being picked away at, you know, we're back in the main, and Ufilm just doesn't let up. Cascade. I mean, I really thought Minato would actually be one of the players to take a map here today. As the Fungals come down, there's just not enough of a follow-up to them. I mean, they might just about clean out this army, but still the third base is going down. GG from Minato. I really thought Minato here would be the player to maybe take a map for Cascade because he did do so well last season. But Ufilm was just a little bit too good in the TVZ today. Alright. You can have either green, shiny green, green, shiny green, silver, or glittery silver. Glittery silver is my favorite one to type now. We're actually running out of shiny green. There's not many left. Oh, there's a few. They're just hiding at the bottom of the box. There's actually loads of glittery silver ones in this box. Glittery silver ones, TLO. Okay, I'm going to write this one out now. And then we're going to introduce the players. Just so I remember what color. The big one TV. You can also have a bauble as well. Sorry. You also subscribed. You guys are all being too awesome right now. I can't keep up. Big one TV. Let me know what color bauble you want as well. And I will continue to bauble up. Guys, for now, let's do this game. If I forgot about your bauble or anything, please do feel free to message me. I will put it up later. It's just getting a little bit hectic. Games and people continue to be awesome. Thank you so much. You're all awesome. Let's do this. To the top right-hand side of the map. It's going to be a Blue Terran player from Team Liquid. They're 3-0 right now. Are they going to take an all-kill in their first match of the season? It is Ufilm. And down to the bottom left, our red Terran player from Cascade. Can he stop the all kill? Before the chat in the lobby said, Euphemal, please. 4-0, Cascade does not deserve this. Please help us. And Euphemal said, well, Cass, here's what's up. You know what you gotta do if this is not what Cascade deserves. So Cass is the red Terran player at the bottom left-hand side, was given some motivation by Euphemal pretty much. Don't feel as though Euphemal should be the kind of guy giving Cass motivation, given the situation that, you know, they're in this match right now and so on. Not so sure. Anyways, sort of interesting, didn't actually mention this yet today. Liquid did knock out Cascade in the round of 8 of the Team League last season, so that's always kind of cool to know as well, these sort of rivalries that build up through the season. And that's something we're going to be doing a lot this season, telling the storylines of the WardiTV Team League and all of, you know, all these other little bits and pieces. That's what we want to keep on telling you guys, so. You'll see this Reaper for Euphemal moving around here. Going to be taking the right-hand side watchtower. We're going to see Grenade going down. Grenade hits the Reaper, and Cass is going to be blasted away already with this, by that Reaper. And so that Reaper is going to be pulling up towards the top side. So, single Hellion out for Cass as well. Going to have a poke around, see what's up. Euphemal just going into a nice fast cloak Banshee play. So, nice fast cloak Banshee coming out of him right here. And we're just going to be seeing the Hellion just continuing to work his way through these SCVs right now. So SCVs continue to take damage. And Hellion just going to go down. I mean, that was kind of unexciting. I need to stop reading the chat, guys. Sorry, it's too busy right now. I'm going to have to focus on the game. God damn it. You guys giving us so many viewers I can't even read the chat anymore. What's that meant to be? What's that meant to be? Banshee on the way from both players, actually. Very similar builds. The slight difference is there's already a reactor down on Cass's barracks, and Euphemal is just building a reactor right now at his factory. So very slight differences. Very slight differences in these early stages. We're going to be seeing the natural command center building up here from Cass as well. So natural CC building right now. Going to see a couple of Banshees just crossing each other in the center. I'm just going to be seeing the Banshees just having a little bit of a look to see what's up and what's happening. I mean, nothing really too exciting so far. Just the first worker going down. I mean, Cloak's about to finish, right? So this is where we see where the Banshees do get real damage done. The natural CC of Euphemal will be delayed, actually, as we see the scan coming out on preemptively. Doesn't kill the Banshee, though, so that's really nice. He still has his own Banshee over here. Not too much anti-air in place. Actually, now the turret comes in. The Banshee takes a wrong turn. Just manages to get away behind the back of this here now. Raven coming out as well, but you still need some anti-air. You still need a Viking, I think, because this one Marine is not going to be enough, surely. Raven over here for Euphemal picks off the Banshee of Cass. He gets 2 workers killed. Euphemal gets 4 and a bunch of Marines. Euphemal will definitely have a better time with this one. The auto turret on this Banshee is on this Raven, sorry, is what he's looking for to try and kill the Banshee, but the Banshee gets far enough away. So, as a follow-up here, we've seen so much TVT this series as well, by the way. That's like such a weird one, right? Because it's like, when do you usually see so much TVT? Usually you see a bunch of ZVZ in these tournaments. But TVT, multiple times, is absolutely crazy. I was going to see this Raven coming up the top side from Cass. Going to be dropping in here some older turrets. And that's going to be a nice little way to harass here. Going to get a couple of SCV kills, or 1, 2. Yeah, he gets 2. So 2 SCV kills is pretty decent. As Euphemal moves his natural CC into location. You can just see the damage Euphemal's Banshee did, especially on the army supply Cass, is really showing here. 31 army to 18 from Euphemal, and he's up 2 workers as well. Just in general, the build from Euphemal seemed a bit cleaner here and there. And, you know, we look at your units tab. There's a Viking a piece, there's a Raven a piece, but Euphemal has 4 more Marines. He's got 1 more tank. It's, again, just lined up a little bit more nicely for him throughout this. As we're going to be seeing a tank moving forward here for Euphemal still. Tank just moving forward here from Euphemal, just positioning to be defensive in these early stages. Now, guys, it is 3-0, and if this is a 4-0, then do not fear, because Millennium against Invasion Esports they had to start earlier than expected today. So we are going to be casting from replays, and we're going to be casting that live as soon as Liquid Cascade finish. So there's not going to be much downtime at all between series, so do not fear. And the replays are literally like an hour old, so, you know, there's no reason not to watch them just because they're replays. They're literally an hour old, so fear not, is what I'm saying. So more StarCraft 2 coming up, just in case this is a 4-0. If it's not, then settle down, because we will have one heck of a night ahead of us. As we're going to be seeing these Marines just going to be Again, joining up on the ramp right here. Euphemal actually gets his Banshee back home. This was his second Banshee, not the one with the kills on it. So this was a little bit less luck. I guess ran into this Viking Raven down to the south side, but then couldn't find too much. Single Marine going to sit on this watchtower to the right, and yeah, we just sit back and wait. I mean, Euphemal building up to 5 racks. No third CC just yet. Obviously, maybe feels that he has an advantage to some extent, and if he feels he's got that advantage, well, 5 racks can be a really good way to push it. He already, is he actually behind on stim? He is, so actually that could be a pretty big deal, though, if he's trying to be aggressive with 5 racks, because he can't be aggressive until he has a stim and combat shields if his opponent already has it, of course, otherwise he'd be attacking into fights which just do not work out too well for him at all. So this 4th and 5th racks from Euphemal is going to be starting to come on up here. Marines are going to take down the rocks just down on the low ground, and units just getting ready to gather up together as a Marine or two from Cass continues over to the right-hand side. So Marine and Ridderman continue to go over to the right-hand side here. We're going to see this Viking and Raven coming in, and in order to help him to push this Raven Banshee back. This Banshee's been hanging over here for a long time, so finally being forced to do something else. After it did pick up a lot of kills earlier, we'll get some more once again now. It's going to pick up 1, it's going to pick up a 2. No, not quite. 1 worker kill. Okay. Nice pick off then, as we're going to see Cass with a big drop loading on up. Cass actually taking a little bit of a supply lead here momentarily. And again, he has got combat shields on these Marines, so if he can take a pretty, if he can take an alright sort of fight, he's, he's actually going to be able to take a really good engagement, I think. Sorry, not TLO. I keep getting TLO in my head because I keep seeing TLO in the chat. Euphemal unsieges his tanks in the main, though. Cass sees this. He's really going to drop in. He'll drop in behind at the top side of this now. Marines are starting to stim in already, though. No combat shields as one of the tanks sieges up, but I think there's just too many units here from Euphemal, as we're going to be seeing this tank going down as well. And Cass does absolutely nothing with this drop. At the same time, trying to move down the south side, Cloak comes in on this Banshee, and so it's able to keep on picking away at these Marines. Only 3 tanks, 2 Marines, the Viking and the Raven left over here now. And I'm just going to be seeing the counter drop from Euphemal. He says, you know what? Let's go. Let's do this. Let's move across the map and let's try and get some further damage done here. And as we got these 4 Medivacs moving down towards the bottom left here. So here we go. We're going to see this one Viking actually trying to fight against this. And Euphemal will just say, well, okay, fine, I'll just unload and fight you. And he's going to force his opponent to lift up and actually boost away in towards the main base. So Euphemal across the map. He's bringing more units across as well as we speak. 25 supply ahead at this point in time. In Game 4, he is looking to make this the 3rd all-kill this season in the Team League. The 3rd of 3 matches, which would be absolutely ridiculous, of course. And so here we go. Marines start to split up. The Marines are going down from Cass. Cass is losing his tanks as well. Auto turret in the back from the Raven from Euphemal as well, which is just a little bit of added extra. His Banshee is adding more damage in, and he's just trying to do as much as he can. He falls back towards his siege tanks. He's got more Marines coming in also. He's going to break his way through and keep his position on this ramp. This Viking will fall. More reinforcements, and Euphemal is breaking the front. Cass doesn't really have anything left at all. 1 tank, he pulls in SCVs. It's not pretty to be a Cascade fan here today, because Euphemal and Team Liquid are just too good.